Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It is Super Dave back at it with the PA Political Revolution podcast. And I know I've been on a hiatus, right? But I'm back. Let me say that I'm back. Let me say it again. I am back on the microphone giving you that good political commentary and edutainment that you all want to hear, love to hear, right? Man, I got to tell you, this sun is brutal. And working in this sun, doing manual labor, whatever you're doing, makes you not want to do anything else. After you have getting off work or whatever, that sun is dreadful. I mean, man, that sun is so relentless. It is something serious. It is something serious. Once you get in, you don't want to do anything. On the weekends, you definitely don't want to do anything when you have a couple of days to rest and opportunity to stay out of the sun. But as you know, right, my haters keep me on my toes, right? Every time I get some hate, that automatically motivates me, regardless of how hot it is outside, inside, wherever, right? The haters always keep me ready to spit some of this knowledge, right? Spit some of this political satire, this commentary, this edutainment, whatever you want to call it, right? It gets me in the mood for going in on these political crooks, right? And once again, it's another time to do that, right? It should be a pretty good one. It should be a pretty good one, right? Basically, I'm going to go ahead and start off where I ended it, right? As you know, right now, Port Arthur City Council has gotten two new council members, right? One of them by the name of Miss Deneen Beckham and Harold Doucette, right? Ms. Beckham, Ms. Doucette, they've edged off their competition to go ahead and take with Miss Beckham for C3 and Mr. Doucette for District 4, right? So now it's an interesting, change to the city council. We're going to see how, each of them is doing, right? And surprisingly, I've heard that some people like how the way Miss Beckham kind of informs, right? Some people were saying, right, hey, she's putting things on a page, a Facebook page, or any other social media page, let people know, hey, she's putting out a phone number, hey, give me a call if you have these type of problems or whatever. So that's good. But the truth in the pudding is when we want to see how she votes on certain items, right? That's the main thing of, we're going to see, how effective she is, how she votes on the topics. Now, everybody pretty much know what Mr. Doucette, right? Mr. Doucette, pretty much straight up and down guy, by the book, by procedures, one that brings integrity back to the council, and understandably so. So everybody pretty much knows that especially if you're in District 4, know what Mr. Harold Doucette is about, trying to get things right, trying to get things in order and everything going by procedure. So these are some of the two things we have to see. These are some of the things we have to look for some of these two council members. Seeing how everything's going, seeing how they're going to go ahead and change the political climate, if they're going to change the political climate or they're going to fall into it. Right, this should be an interesting council with these two. Right. Now, something I want to go ahead and get off my chest right now, right? I've been hearing like from outside, right? From outside sources, people saying from outside the political arena, hey, Dave, that, you keep talking about these people, they're gonna go ahead and try to sue you or try to do this or try to do that. People saying they want to go ahead and sue you or implying that they want to sue me, right? So, I'm just talking in general, right? I'm not talking about any particular person, on, off council, just something outside of city politics, right? Just outside of politics, right? So some people say, hey, they're going to sue you, right, for the stuff you're saying on the politics. Now let me go ahead and get this straight, right? You already had one clown hog, right, that tried to sue and failed, and absolutely made a fool of himself. Actually failed, and and that was our side and barely even trying, and the person actually failed. They just wasted money on their time. So, if anybody try to go ahead and attack my right for political free speech, right? I have the right to free speech, but even more so, I have the right to political free speech. I'm going to go ahead and let all these Scud and Patriot missiles off, right? If any one of you crooked clowns, in or outside of politics, right, wherever, you come from another city, whatever, wherever you come in, saying that you want to sue me for my satirical political commentary, which is my opinion, I'm letting all of these Scud missiles out, right? I'm letting these Scud missiles go out on a particular attorney that may have a particular conflict of interest, or old conflict of interest that nobody's having really just, well, I kind of said something about it, but nobody's ever really dropped the paperwork into the state bar, right? Now, another thing, they had this clown attorney came from San Antonio that came down over here on the mayor's birthday, right? Well, July 21st. I remember his birthday because it's kind of a few months down from my birthday. So, on the same day, the 21st. So, you had this clown attorney come from San Antonio, came lied to the council about the EDC between the Class A and the Class B. He didn't falsified, misrepresented material. Well, lied, pretty much lied on the law. Go send some Scud missiles out on his ass, lying, lying to the council, right? Making, false statements of material fact. Also, we go sending on this attorney that's actually trying to actually make a doggone a frivolous lawsuit against me, right? See, what a lot of people don't know, right? What a lot of people fail to realize, these attorneys, you have them come talk all that shit, talk all that crap about what they're gonna do, what they're gonna not do, right? See these dummies around here. You have these dummies in general around here. Any attorney that's practicing, that's doing crooked things, right? They'll get hit with either with the conflict of interest one. They'll get hit with 3.1 meritorious claims of contentions, filing a frivolous lawsuit, 4 point something lying, and I think it's 8.7 misconduct. So you have a lot of things on here that really, if you're an attorney, you have to kind of walk a tightrope, right? But you going out claiming that you're going to actually, sue people for their political commentary. You're just claiming sue out your mouth, sue this and that. Hey, I don't want nobody to say nothing about me, so I'm going to go ahead and sue, right? Let's go ahead and take a look at this. Meritorious claims and contentions, right? Oh, hold on. Let me go ahead. I'm sorry. Let me go ahead and take this screensaver off of here. Meritorious claims and contentions, right? The lawyer should not bring or defend proceedings, assertions, or controvert an issue therein unless a lawyer reasonably believes that there is a basis for doing so that is not frivolous. Let's go ahead and jump right here to 2. All judicial systems prohibited at a minimum in the filing of frivolous or knowing false pleadings, motions, or other papers with the court, or the assertion of a adjudicatory proceeding of a knowingly false claim or defense. A filing or assertion is frivolous if it's made primary for the purpose of harassing or, maliciously injuring a person. It is also frivolous if the lawyer is unable to either make a good faith argument that the action taken is consistent with the existing law or that it may be supported by a good faith argument for an extension, modification, or reversal of existing law. See, right? As an attorney, you cannot file any type of, frivolous lawsuit, right? And you have to have a good faith effort, right? You wanting to sue, anybody wanting to sue, because I'm giving a political commentary, right? Because of something that you stated, right? Giving my opinion on what you stated, which is my opinion. You are being racist because of what you said, not me, what you said, right? Any competent attorney should know that a person has a right for political free speech. And I guarantee you, you will not bully me. I don't know what these people telling you. They think, regular folk, regular black folk don't have enough money to go ahead and get a lawyer. We will get an attorney, right? We will go through with the full legal process. And I'm going to go through with mine with filing these actual state bar violations, right? Something might stick. So if anybody want to threaten somebody for their political commentary, hey, go ahead and do it. You just putting yourself in a whole lick of mess, right? There's a lot of things on here you shouldn't be doing, and you need to go check on the state bar. That's not for any particular person. That's just anybody in general, right? Because what do you have here, right? When you have people running that normally it works in the legal field, they're used to control, right? They're used to controlling individuals, trying to paint the narrative of somebody else, right? But when you get in the political ring, you don't have that much control, right? And you have other people that can give their opinion on stuff, right? You don't really control this process like you think you control it. So when you have people that fighting against the crooked regime, right? Hey, and people don't like racism. If you happen to present yourself as a racist, that's on you. And you threatening people about suing them is not going to do anything to hurt them. It's going to hurt you because you're the one putting your license on the line for retaliatory, for retaliating on people, right? So just be wary, right? I'm not fooling. I've heard this story a million times, right? A million times. I've had threats from a former sitting judge. Hey, we're going to go ahead and sue you. Had threats from the news. Going to go ahead and sue you. All of those claims, nothing ever, they were duds. One tried to sue and got pretty embarrassed because a person of that political stature, former senator, they should have known better than to make any type of false allegations, right? So we come back to, hey, we fighting everything with full force. We throwing out all these Scud and Patriot missiles out there, right? If I'm gonna get hit, a lot of people gonna get hit. A lot of people gonna get hit, and hey, I'm gonna be hitting that Texas Rangers office. I'm gonna be hitting the phones. I'm gonna be calling him like about 2-3 times a week. And this time I'm gonna be relentless in it. He's gonna have to go ahead and investigate all of these charges I got on certain people. Hey, I'm pushing the extra issue of with these conflicting interests. Not only this with the real estate. So yeah, y'all can go ahead and come for me if you want to. I'm not going down without a fight, and I'm launching everything out there. So since we got that out the way, right? Feel free. Hey, and if you hear any type of thing where they're threatening to sue me or somebody else, just go ahead and record that down for me, right? Whenever the board hears, I'm gonna say, I ain't gonna give you all the game plan, I ain't gonna give it a game. I'm just give you what you should know. What you should know is what your actual Texas Bar Rules of Disciplinary Professional Conduct, right? Disciplinary procedure, something like that. So you should know the bar rules pretty much. Now, got that off of my chest, right? Now we can go ahead and back into the program. Now this is something interesting, right? Last city council meeting, right? Last city council meeting, going to get in a little episode where the not city employees, where contractors walked off of a job because they were not paid by the city. People, we've been telling you this a few months ago when the what you call it, the EDC director, when the EDC director said, "Hey, look, we just want to pay our bills by ourselves so we can go ahead and get things done." See, this is why you can't get things done right here. It all starts with the money. It all boils down to the money. What are you doing with the money? And also, I might try to go to it a little bit in here, but the city manager, right, tries to make a plea for the finance directors working from at home. How in the hell does that happen when you have so many problems at the city of Port Arthur with money, with financing, with the actual budget? You need the finance director to be on site so they can deal with the actual issues. You don't need them to be hiding at home while they're not doing anything. That doesn't make any sense. So this city is out of control. Before I get too far on, let's just go ahead and listen to this.
So we will go on to the next presentation. And if possible, Ms. Candy, are you here? Okay, this is a presentation by Finance Director Candy Daniels regarding paying city vendors, requested by Councilmember Kinlaw.
Yes. Let's just hear from you're ready, Councilman Kinlaw?
Yeah, I'm ready. But Director, I have a couple of questions because the last council meeting or two, we discussed on your matrix and how vendors are being paid out. So I'm very concerned to go and get questions about how and getting phone calls of why vendors are not getting paid. You stated, I guess, what was that, March, April time frame that you would bring back to the council a matrix and how it comes to your office with the invoices and what process of approval those things have to go through. And we're still having some situations. I know that we started with this Neverline system maybe about 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, and I did do my homework on that. I think we started the new system, the Tyler Minus, in April 2021. So my thing with the director, I mean, to go on a site and to find out from the citizens why the contractors are no longer working is because they hadn't been getting paid. I have a concern with that. And that's going over throughout the city. We're just not addressing it and bringing it to light. But today I'm going to bring that to light. Particular couple of streets ago, days ago, I went to a site and found out that the contractors walked off because they wasn't getting paid. I talked to the city manager. He said that, we're at fault. But I want a little bit more than that we're, just at fault. We need to do better, and we need to figure out where we going wrong with this program. This was introduced a little over 2 years ago, Neverline, that it was going to be, we got a new system. Tyler Minus is going to replace the system. All those kinks and bugs that we've had in the past, we won't have them anymore. We're back here again 6 months later, 5 months later. So if we don't talk about these things and we don't bring them to light, we're going to be in trouble. We're going to continue being in trouble. We're going to always have this black eye from the community about not paying our bills on time. And whatever reason it is, I don't know. I still haven't received the matrix that you promised this council when Councilman Marks was on there. I think he was the person that asked for it. what is the process? What is the invoice process it goes through to get approved? Who's the people that are in those hands to push this green light to make sure that it's approved to go to the next process where that a check can be sent out? Something that's not right. And if we keep on hiding and not addressing these things, the community's going to say they don't want to have dealings with Port Arthur because they don't pay. They want the service, but they don't pay. But it's shameful for me to go on the site, and that's the only reason I found out, because the neighborhood called me and asked me to come out there, and nobody's been there for 3 to 4 weeks. And they knew, based on talking with the vendors, that, guess what? They walked off the job because they hadn't been paid. Call up here, and that's exactly what happened. So without saying who the vendors are, what are we going to do? So I asked you to be put on here to explain the process and also provide to this entire council the matrix. And I know this is city manager's lane, but we're getting the phone calls. My cohort and I are getting these phone calls to figure out what we need to do.
In addition to that, Ms. Candy, I've been told that staff needed to be trained on, more staff needed to be trained on the new program, but the vendor wasn't available for training. So if that is true, we need to find another vendor. We're just getting all types of different information, but we do truly want to understand.
Now, what in the hell is Tiffany Hamilton doing answering the question, right? She needs to state her question, whatever, and let her answer the question.
The process and be able to rectify it.
Let me as well say, may I?
Yes, sir.
Let me as well say that when we talked about this issue a few months ago, we did have the EDC come before us, and they were requesting to pay their own bills because of that situation and this situation that occurred. And immediately after that, one of the considerations that happened and occurred, well, we were told that it was because the payment had to be initiated by directors and that there were processes that had to go forth to get that payment. Immediately after we brought this to light, everybody got paid. Everybody got paid, everybody got money, and everything was hunky-dory for a period of time. But now it seems as though we're going back down that same rabbit trail. So it is important for us to discuss this. It is important for us to bring this to light. But whatever it was that we did immediately after that consideration has to be on the continuum. It has to be something that we're doing in a continual manner so that, as Councilman Kinlaw said, we don't get this black eye. We don't have this perception that Port Arthur wants services, but that we don't pay.
Mr. Lewis?
Yes, one of our problems, I've dealt with this, and I'm not going to go down that trail again. I've had contractors to contact me in August, and they had all their invoices and everything in April. It was not paid. You got small business people that clean City Hall. They need their money. They don't get paid on time. They got to go borrow money. Fortunately, some of the companies that I've dealt with had operating funds where they could get through this. But what we need to do, we need to put an alternate system, put back in place a manual system until we get this whatever supposed to be automated system corrected. But we need to have a manual system to pay these people, okay? And then enter that information in the system later on. State law, I haven't read it lately, but state law said there's a turnaround, 30-day turnaround. 30 days, everybody's supposed to be paid. 5th Street down there, where my church at New Life Missionary Baptist Church, they walked off the job because they wasn't getting paid. They went, this has happened a while back. But I'm hearing from Councilman Kinlaw, we still have the same problem. But no one has contacted me lately. But I'm not saying he's false. The problem is still there. And what I discovered, loss of invoices. That's why I asked you, did you have a process on the invoice and a timeline? The contractors I've dealt with had to resubmit their invoices. Because I called the head to the finance department. The young man is no longer there. I called the head, and he said, I don't have any invoices. But the invoices have been in the system since April. It's an internal problem. Whatever system that we are paying, taxpayers are paying for, is not working. So we need to put a manual system in place and get these people paid so we can get contractors back on the job, and do continuous work and continue to do good work. We got the problem is not outside. The problem is inside. We are the problem.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Lewis. City Manager? You
Yes,
had to.
I think somebody else had their lights on.
Okay.
Do say
Good.
this and-
No, I want to hear, I want to hear city manager first, please. How you look at city manager, I want to hear.
Let me, I just sent one of the assistant city managers to get a memo that has addressed the matter, which
See, this city man is going to go into a long filibuster of pretty much nothing, right? He's going to go into a long filibuster saying absolutely nothing. Let me say this. No, this not the one. He's not going to go in. The next one, he's going to go into a long filibuster talking about absolutely nothing.
businesses as well who needs to survive, and we will continue to work with those small vendors to make sure that they're being paid on time, But that is a matter that we have put to rest with the finance department to make sure the calls are coming. Yes, I did speak.
That is-
Tell the city manager how to run this city. I'm not telling anybody how to do it. But as a councilman, I'm going to say this. We have money in the bank. And if we can't pay somebody in 30 days, we have a serious problem. So this needs to stop, and it needs to stop now. Whatever you need, city manager, I'm quite sure we all going to do it. But we want people paid in 30 days. No excuses.
Councilmember Kinlaw.
Thank you. Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Candy, again, this is going to be the second request we've asked for your department through the city manager. The process flow chart. Once you get these invoices, where are the approvals? I mean, where does the process go from start to finish? That was asked by Councilman Marks, I guess, a couple of months ago, March, April time frame. Well, we didn't get that, but I'm asking again for that. It's just a process. Once this new system that you have, that was the next best thing for this whole city to convert from. As Councilman Doucette stated earlier, we went here, April 1st, 2021. That's when we started the new system. So it's a little over 2 years. And we were giving you guys, well, not you, but the training. They used our office for almost a year. And I remember that. So we wanted to make sure that all our employees were getting the opportunity to be trained on this new system. And it would make all our lives a lot easier. So I'm asking for the second time the process flow chart when invoices come to your department from the begin and then where's the check when the check goes for payout. And if you could provide it to the entire council, I would appreciate that.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Councilman Frank. Oh, what you? Okay. Thank you very much.
Now, here's Councilmember Kinlaw got played, right? He didn't ask his person for the finance 2 different times about the flow chart. What Councilman Kinlaw should have just asked on the spot. Okay, I got a pen and paper. We don't need a flow chart. Tell me what is the actual process. Boom. Okay, invoices. Okay, you get the invoice. Where does it go from there? He should have made her verbally explain the flow chart, right? He should have asked her verbally. Then after he asked her verbally, make her come back the next week with the flow chart, right? If you just want to just put it out there for the citizens, hey, I'll make her do both because this is something that's very important, right? This is what makes the city survive, on how well it handles its finances, right? So anything with the finance should be taken with the utmost serious. We have a financial problem, let alone misappropriation of funds, allegedly. You have this, they can't pay the people. That's a big problem. You can't get things done if you can't pay for it. So you can have all of the streets that you want to have done, or you can have all these projects that you allocate money for, right? You can say that you allocated all this money for streets, right? But if you can't pay your bills, none of these things would get done, and none of the council members that has been on here for the past, what, 2, 3, 4 years, right, has not been able to get this done. Has not been able to get it done. And they should have been on top of this, right? If they want the city to go, they need to expedite the flow of money within the city. Let me say that again. They need to expedite the flow of money within the city, right? Have a process where it flows smooth and you can account for it. People, this shouldn't take no 2 years to be trying to figure this out. And heck, if the people not getting paid over 30 days, walking off the job, people, when will you as citizens understand that this is a big problem? The city does not know how to manage its money properly. And then the city manager was talking about here. I don't know if it's before here or now, but within this item, he talks about letting the finance people stay at home. That doesn't make any doggone sense, people.
I need, City Manager?
Yeah. Let me just make it very clear to the council as well that the matter that with the Gulf Coast payment has absolutely nothing to do with the finance department, but with the department at hand, and I'm going to address it. I do intend to address it.
Thank you, City Manager.
To the streets where the people walked off the job, it had nothing to do with the finance department, but I'm going to address it.
Oh.
Gulf Coast, where the workers walked off the job, that you informed me of.
Sweating, thinking it was another one.
It had nothing to do with the young lady at the podium.
Now, city manager, what do you mean it has nothing to do with her, right? What do you mean? The finances either is going to come, the issue with paying the finances is going to come from the finance director, right? Who else is that wrong, right? They've stated that they had a lack of training. They don't really know what they're doing over there in the finance department, and that's why they couldn't pay before when the EDC director came to the board, right? So now you're saying they still cannot pay their funds, but the city manager saying there's nothing to do with the finance director. Who is at fault? If it wasn't at fault, you and the city finance director should have bought a flow chart over there like Councilmember Kinlaw has asked you to do and follow it down the chain, right? Look, all you have to do is walk the problem. Walk it down. Go to the invoice. Okay, the invoice gets sent here. Boom, is that right? Where does it go from here? Where does it go from there? You just have to walk it down until you find the problem. This is not really hard, people, when you have a good idea of management, right? When you can understand basic concept of management and problem solving, right? You just have to walk it down, walk the problem down, right? Okay, let's trace it, do a trace on it. Walk it down. You can find out exactly where the problem is, right? So, but now you have the city managers trying to defend this, right? It doesn't make any sense for a city manager to fight this hard for certain directors, right? Unless you have something to hide. What I'm suspecting he's really not trying to do what's best for the city, but he's just trying to juggle all of these problems until he lose account and everything starts to fall down. So people, you have to pinpoint the problem. If you're going to fix the problem, you need to pinpoint the problem. So how are you going to fix the situation if you don't know what the problem is? And Councilmember Kinlaw, you need to get some cojones, right? You need to put your foot down on the city manager and the city, the finance director, right? And have some consequences. You need to call up the city manager's job at hand, right? Okay, fine, city manager. You don't want to let the finance director take it. You about to take this hit. Start give them a write up, man. You need to put all of these things in their life to let them know that, hey, you're not having this. You need to direct the city manager. You need to fire the finance director. I just need to see a termination or a resignation letter by the end of this month. So in order for some things to go, because the finances, that's the biggest problem. You can say you want to do this with streets. You can say you want to do that. But if we can't pay the people, then we're not getting anything done.
Absolutely nothing. She had no part in it, but I am going to address it.
City manager, don't get us wrong. We're not trying to. That's your job to. Well, we just try. This is a problem that we've had in the past that we're trying to bring to light and that we're trying to fix. So, you know, the flow chart. If we can allow your team, you, to get this provided to the council, we get these phone calls, and I'm sure that the council members are also providing that to you. So don't think we're trying to fix a problem that's.
Now, Kinlaw is actually falling for this fake victim mentality the city manager's doing. He's believing that the fuss up. The city manager's playing this council like some fools.
Broken. It may have been broken before. So let's not, you know. Okay. All right. Thank you.
Councilmember Doucette?
Yes, I'll make a motion that we recess the open meeting and go into an executive.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty much for that, right? That was pretty much for that one. So, you know, hey, we need to go ahead and get that thing fixed. We need to get it fixed. Right? Next item on what up for discussion is EDC appointments, right? Mr. Haradu said Deneen Beckham appointed some people to the EDC board, right? Mr. Doucette, I believe, appointed Ms. Jody Perron. I believe that's the last name, if I'm not mistaken. And Ms. Beckham put Jerry LaBeouf on there, right? So now let me tell you how chicken crap this council is, right? And how much of some Sambos they are, some house Negroes they are on council, right? When Willie Bay Lewis wanted to put on Mr. Floyd Baptiste on the EDC board, oh, you had everybody hooping and hollering allegedly that Pastor Franks cussed out Willie Bay Lewis. You know, allegedly Boy T tried to fight the man, and all of this stuff when a black person wants to put somebody on there, right? Now, Mr. LaBeouf, Frankton took him off the account, right? Took him off of there, took him off the EDC board, and Ms. Beckham put him on there, right? Now, they've had a problem with Mr. LaBeouf, right? So you didn't hear none of that back talk. You didn't hear none of that cursing. When you had a white person, put a white person on there, right? So, Madam me saying this, right? The council is so full of it. They don't have the same energy, right? Keep that same energy. You had an issue with Mr. LaBeouf. You let somebody put it on there. You didn't give no type of complaints, didn't even look at Miss Beckham created probably, right? But as soon as Mr. Lewis put on Mr. Floyd Baptiste, you ready to hoop and holler, act cause flips, want to fight the man, police had to be called in to the closed meeting section. So that's how much of a sellout we have on council. You have this energy for black folks, but the black council, you have the energy for black folks, but you don't have that energy for the white counterparts. And that's what's sad about the council. Just don't discriminate against anybody. Just keep the same energy for anybody. If you don't like somebody, you didn't want them on there, you kicked them off there, have the same energy when somebody try to put them back on there. And so have the same energy. I'm not saying that Mr. LaBeouf or anybody is a bad pick, right? I'm just saying have that same energy. You don't want Mr. Baptiste on there, have the same energy. Don't pick on Mr. Lewis or Mr. Baptiste. Have the same energy across the board, right? And on here, Mr. Doucette also talks about the street program, right? Talks about the street program and being that hey, when he was on there, when they initially put in the streets program, right? They had certain streets, so when they made a resolution to fix certain streets, and certain streets costed X amount of money. They are doing it wrong, right? Probably illegally, changing up those streets in which those streets have a different cost to it, right? You already had a resolution. You already voted on doing the program, right? You got the bond money for those specific streets and got prices for those streets, right? So that's why you got the bond money. You have the cost already allocated. But when you start changing the streets, right, then you start doing things you're not supposed to be doing, right? Switching up money, not having anything accounted for. That's another reason why the money gets funny, because after we agree to and budget for one thing, you come back and do something else which changes the budget, right? And I believe that's why the finance department has a hard time with juggling the money, right? You have this finance director, I believe, Miss Candy, from what I've heard, right? I've heard she don't have a CPA. I don't know if she do or not. That's just what I've heard. I don't know for sure, right? So don't quote me on it. That's what I'm hearing. They also hired another assistant person. They have them, I think they have them working from home, if I'm not mistaken. It's crazy. It's crazy how much money the city spends on extra personnel that we don't need. It doesn't make any sense, right? And then again, for something as important as the money, think about it. What city in the state of Texas or in this country that's doing things correctly with the money have the finance director at home, doing this from home? Listen, from home. Now, if you as a city personnel with all the money problems that we have in Port Arthur, how can you fix any of this with the person at home not answering the phone call or what? Hey, you need to have the money person on deck, on hand. So, hey, I'm going to keep saying that because we need to understand the money is a major problem with this city, right? So now some of the upcoming issues on this Tuesday's council meeting. I think it's going to be, August the 1st, if I'm not mistaken. Let me look. It should be tomorrow. Yeah, it should be August 1st, right? So, by the time this releases, be today, August 1st. So, what's coming up there? A presentation, presentations on sidewalks and discussions on sidewalks and presentations for Mr. Doucette, right? If you remember, the city attorney only made presentations for the council have to approve you coming over there and giving the presentation. Mr. Doucette want to talk about that, and he want to talk about some issues with the sidewalks. Mr. Kinlaw want to bring up the 5 years of streets being completed. I guess he wanted to kind of pat himself on the back. I'm not exactly sure on what Mr. Kinlaw wanted to talk about that. I'm just thinking he wants to kind of have a pat on the back. Mr. Bay Lewis want to talk about the EDC director's length of service. Mr. Bay Lewis, he's still having these issues with the stalling of Mr. Baptiste being on the EDC board. I mean, it's legally he has the right to do it. He should be able to put him on there. They really can't stop the appointments, but they can take him off though. They just can't stop the appointments. Another issue coming up there is the city attorney's travel. The city attorney has went on a 3-day Texas city attorney meeting, something like that, some kind of convention, right? Yeah, like a city attorney convention, and she wants to get paid for 10 days. Don't know if that's a typo or something, but it shouldn't have been a typo with all the problems that we have with the travel, right? Don't know why she wanted to get paid for 10 days. Hey, look, I don't know. Just, hey, we'll find out later on this evening today. And also another issue that's kind of, coming up with some citizens, right? About a year ago, almost exactly a year ago, right on the 4th, if I'm not mistaken. Well, yeah, sometime around right now, between now and the 4th. The news article came out on the 4th, right? The municipal court supposed to be named after Mr. Kerman Morrison, right? He passed away. They had his wife, Miss Stella Morrison, came over there and gave a speech on her husband's behalf, on her and her husband's behalf. And hey, they were supposed to have this municipal building named after them. So, some people want to know what's the holdup on that. Like I told somebody, right, hey, they're probably going to delay it, use the excuse that, they're going to move the municipal court, and whenever they do that, it's going to come down sometime after then. So, hey, so that's hopefully, I'm wrong, and they actually, do something. They have to do some ceremony over there for Miss Stella Morrison, so, she can, while she's in, good health, she can, be attendant to that, and also hopefully can move the sign, over to the new building or something like that, something permanent. Hopefully something temporary can be right here until, the new building come out and they move the sign over there. Hopefully they can get something going on. I would say that'd be the best thing to do. Have a memorial ceremony, give something temporary here, and then, also have the other building name whenever they move. So, that's just my opinion on it. Yeah, this council meeting should be a pretty good one too. Should be a pretty productive one that we can get some information on, seeing what's going on in the city. So, everybody just kind of keep your eyes on things, and we always need people with a revolutionary attitude. That's the only way you can try to make some things happen. And look, people, this is not going to be easy. I need all of your help, right? We need all of your help to keep our eyes on these council members, right? Keep your eyes on what's going on so we can put pressure on them to do the right thing, right? So we can call it out. Once you start putting pressure on them, look, they'll change. Like some of the best fights that I've had was that slaughterhouse. Man, we had District 4. Hey, we had District 4 on lock. District 4 was locked and loaded. Man, when I hit the email, but when I hit the social media with the EDC board members' phone numbers on there, man, they was getting calls left and right. So, we need those type of fights going on, people. So, hey, just stay locked and loaded and do me a quick solid. Need y'all to like, share this, tell anybody that you see out there about the PA Political Revolution podcast, and give them the YouTube address, the name, send it to them on their phone or something like that. Hey, help me, help us. Until the next time, everybody, take it easy. Peace.